Welcome to my channel, Worldwise. What's something people don't know about the early life of J. Robert Oppenheimer? Today, we're diving into the fascinating beginnings of the man who would one day change the course of history. J. Robert Oppenheimer was born in New York City in 1904, at a time when the city was bustling with new ideas, immigrants, and opportunities. The world he entered was one of rapid change, with horse-drawn carriages sharing the streets with the first automobiles, and skyscrapers beginning to rise above the city skyline. Oppenheimer's early years were shaped by this vibrant, ever-evolving environment, which would later influence his own curiosity and drive for discovery. His parents, Julius and Ella Oppenheimer, were both Jewish immigrants who had come to America seeking a better life. Julius was a successful textile importer while Ella was an artist. They valued education deeply and filled their home with books, art, and music. From a young age, Robert was encouraged to explore the world of ideas, and his parents' passion for learning left a lasting impression on him. Young Robert excelled in school, quickly standing out as a bright and curious student. He was fascinated by literature, science, and languages, and he often spent hours reading or writing poetry in his notebooks. His teachers noticed his remarkable intellect, and encouraged him to pursue his interests, whether it was solving complex math problems or exploring the beauty of the written word. Even as a child, Oppenheimer's mind seemed to leap ahead, always searching for new challenges. Oppenheimer's academic journey led him to Harvard University, one of the most prestigious schools in the country. There, he dove into chemistry and physics, but he didn't limit himself to science alone. He also studied philosophy, French, and Eastern religions, developing a broad and deep understanding of the world. His professors were amazed by his ability to grasp complex concepts, and he completed his degree in just 3 years, a remarkable achievement that spoke to his dedication and intellect. After graduating from Harvard, Oppenheimer set his sights on Europe, the center of groundbreaking scientific research at the time. He boarded a ship and crossed the Atlantic, eager to immerse himself in the new and exciting world of theoretical physics. The journey itself was an adventure, filled with anticipation for the discoveries that awaited him on the other side of the ocean. In Europe, Oppenheimer found himself at the heart of a scientific revolution. This was the era when the mysteries of the atom were being unraveled, and the strange, counterintuitive world of quantum mechanics was just beginning to take shape. Laboratories buzzed with excitement as scientists debated new theories and conducted experiments that would change our understanding of the universe forever. Oppenheimer was thrilled to be part of this dynamic community, eager to contribute his own ideas. During his time in Europe, Oppenheimer had the opportunity to work alongside some of the greatest minds in physics, brilliant thinkers like Max Born, Niels Bohr, and Werner Heisenberg. These collaborations not only expanded his knowledge but also inspired him to push the boundaries of what was possible. Surrounded by innovation and discovery, Oppenheimer's early life set the stage for the remarkable achievements that would define his career. The year was 1939. The world was on the brink of dramatic change, and the air was thick with uncertainty. In cities and towns across America, people went about their daily lives, unaware that history was about to take a dark and dangerous turn. World War II had begun. The news sent shockwaves around the globe. Families gathered around radios, listening anxiously as reports of conflict and chaos poured in from Europe. The world was at war once again, and the stakes had never been higher. In the midst of this turmoil, scientists made a discovery that would change everything. They realized that splitting the atom could unleash unimaginable energy, enough to create a bomb more powerful than anything the world had ever seen. The possibility was both thrilling and terrifying, and it quickly became clear that whoever controlled this new technology could determine the outcome of the war. But there was a chilling question on everyone's mind. What if Nazi Germany developed the atomic bomb first? Hitler's scientists were already racing to unlock the secrets of nuclear fission. The thought of such a weapon in the hands of the Nazis was a nightmare that could not be ignored. Alarmed by this possibility, Albert Einstein, one of the most brilliant minds of the century, took action. He wrote a letter to President Franklin Roosevelt, warning him of the grave danger and urging the United States to take the threat seriously. President Roosevelt read Einstein's letter with growing concern. He understood the urgency and gravity of the situation. In a series of tense meetings, he and his advisors debated what to do next, knowing that the fate of the free world might depend on their decision. The United States needed to act fast. Time was running out, and every moment counted. Scientists and government officials worked around the clock, driven by the fear that the Nazis might be just steps ahead. This sense of urgency led to the creation of the Manhattan Project, a top-secret program with a single daunting goal: to build an atomic bomb before Germany could. The project brought together the nation's brightest minds and vast resources, all hidden away in remote locations. At the heart of this effort was J. Robert Oppenheimer, a brilliant and respected physicist. He was chosen to lead the scientific team, guiding them through uncharted territory and impossible challenges. Oppenheimer's intellect and determination inspired those around him. The project was massive in scale, involving thousands of scientists, engineers, and workers, all united by a single purpose. Across the country, in secret laboratories and hidden facilities, thousands toiled day and night. Their work was shrouded in secrecy, but their mission was clear: to win the race against time, and to change the course of history forever. The pressure was immense. The fate of the world might depend on their success. Oppenheimer and his team worked tirelessly in Los Alamos, New Mexico. The desert landscape became home to their laboratories and test sites. They were developing a weapon of unimaginable power. On July 16, 1945, the first atomic bomb was tested. The code name was Trinity. In the pre-dawn darkness, the world held its breath. The explosion was unlike anything ever seen. A blinding flash lit up the New Mexico desert. The mushroom cloud climbed miles into the sky. The age of atomic weapons had begun. The war in Europe ended in May 1945, as people across the continent celebrated the defeat of Nazi Germany. There was a sense of relief and hope, with crowds filling the streets, embracing the promise of peace after years of devastating conflict. But even as Europe rejoiced, the world was not yet free from war. The war with Japan continued to rage on in the Pacific. Fierce battles were still being fought on islands like Okinawa and Iwo Jima, where both American and Japanese forces suffered heavy casualties. The Japanese military showed no signs of surrender, and the fighting grew more desperate with each passing day. Behind the scenes, a secret project was underway. The Manhattan Project, a top-secret effort involving thousands of scientists, was racing to develop a new kind of weapon: the atomic bomb. Military and political leaders debated its use, weighing the moral and ethical consequences of unleashing such unprecedented destruction. The atomic bomb was a weapon of terrible, almost unimaginable power. Its destructive force was unlike anything the world had ever seen, capable of wiping out entire cities in a single instant and leaving devastation in its wake. Meanwhile, the war was costing so many lives on both sides. Every day, soldiers and civilians alike were killed or wounded. Hospitals overflowed with the injured, and families everywhere mourned their loved ones. The human cost of continuing the war was staggering. President Harry Truman, who had only recently taken office after the death of Franklin D. Roosevelt, faced one of the most difficult decisions in history. After careful consideration and consultation with his advisors, Truman made the fateful choice to use the atomic bomb in hopes of ending the war swiftly. The hope was that by demonstrating the overwhelming power of this new weapon, Japan would be compelled to surrender, sparing countless more lives that would be lost in a prolonged invasion. Many believed this was the only way to bring the conflict to a close. On August 6, 1945, the American B-29 bomber Enola Gay took off from Tinian Island, carrying the first atomic bomb ever used in warfare. The target was Hiroshima, a major Japanese city and military center. When the bomb detonated, the city was devastated in seconds, with tens of thousands killed instantly and much of Hiroshima reduced to rubble. Just 3 days later, on August 9th, a second atomic bomb was dropped on the city of Nagasaki. The destruction there was also immense, with entire neighborhoods obliterated and fires raging through the ruins. The scale of the devastation was almost beyond comprehension. In both cities, thousands of people died instantly from the blast and the intense heat. Buildings were flattened, and survivors found themselves in a landscape of utter ruin, searching desperately for loved ones amid the chaos. Many more would die in the days, weeks, and months that followed, suffering from horrific burns, injuries, and the mysterious effects of radiation sickness. Hospitals struggled to care for the wounded, and the true toll of the bombings would only become clear over time. Faced with such overwhelming destruction, and the threat of further attacks, Japan announced its surrender on August 15, 1945. Across the world, people celebrated the end of World War II, but the cost of victory weighed heavily on many hearts. The world was forever changed by the events in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. News of the atomic bomb's power spread rapidly, and leaders everywhere realized that humanity had entered a new and dangerous era. The atomic bomb had shown its terrible power, leaving a legacy of destruction and a warning for future generations about the dangers of nuclear weapons. Oppenheimer was initially proud of his role in the Manhattan Project. He had helped his country win the war, but he was also deeply troubled by the bomb's destructive power. He saw the devastation it caused. He understood the threat it posed to humanity. "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds," he famously said, quoting from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. He became an advocate for international control of atomic energy. He wanted to prevent future use of such terrible weapons. The world had entered the Cold War. Suspicion and fear of communism were just rampant in the United States. Oppenheimer's past associations with communists and his opposition to the development of the hydrogen bomb made him a target. In 1954, Oppenheimer's security clearance was revoked. He was stripped of his position and his voice in government. The hearing was controversial. Many believed he was unfairly targeted for his political beliefs. J. Robert Oppenheimer died in 1967. He left behind a complex legacy. He was a brilliant physicist, a flawed hero. He had opened the door to the atomic age, a world forever changed by his work. Oppenheimer's story is a reminder of the immense power of science. It is a reminder of the responsibility that comes with knowledge. It is a story about difficult choices, unintended consequences, and the weight of history. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, check out my next video, coming up now.